learning on the job is good, but it's not for every job. You wouldn't hop on a plane, for example, with a trainee pilot in the cockpit. And it's the same for governance as well. Learning on the job can be costly, especially because the decisions of political office holders affects millions of lives. And just recently, the Bureau of Public Service Reforms, in partnership with Unilag Consult, developed a training program, sort of like an induction for governors-elect and their deputies, to ensure that newly elected officers are properly prepared for assumption of office. Why is this important? Well, 18 of the 28 governors-elect are first-time governors, while 10 are second-timers. So that gives you a sense. Wow, there needs to be that conversation. It's one that I'm particularly excited about. And we have joining us Mr. Dasuki Arabi, who is the Director General of the Bureau of Public Service Reforms, the BPSR, joining us from our Abuja studio. Good evening, sir. Thank you for your time on the program. This is something we were meant to do some time ago, especially.
Thank you very much for having us. Good evening.
Right. Thank you, especially because this was meant to have started, in the first week of May, which is some days ago. And I'm sure a lot of Nigerians will be interested in hearing what this training is about for governors-elect and the rest. I mean, what will they be learning? It's quite rare to see them in that classroom setting. So talk us through.
Well, thank you very much. I want to just draw us back to the reason why Bureau of Public Service Reforms was created. It's to provide information, to lead in governance, to have the best skilled officers driving government services. Now, what we have seen over the time is a lot of the trainings and the engagements that have taken place have been within the executive arms of government. And we know that governance cannot happen in a political atmosphere like this, with the best coming from the executive arm. For us to get a bridge that will build this relationship, and to get the best of officers, number one, elected, and be able to deliver on the mandate vis-a-vis the calls and the expectations of the citizens, we came up with this idea of a conference and a retreat on governance and leadership for all elected officers, senators, members of House of Representatives, governors, state assemblies, and we're even extended that to local government level. What do we want to see? We want to give them a hamper of welcome in public service delivery and in governance, for them to understand what is leadership, what are the best practices in terms of expectations by the international community and citizens. You understand that because of the numerous developmental issues around us, citizens are now more enlightened. They are now more engaged. They are expecting political leadership to deliver on their promises and by extension improve the quality of the life of the citizens of the country. Now, by that extension, we have engaged with the University of Lagos Consult and London Business School to run a two-day program for this very important Nigerians that have been elected and are expected to assume duty on the 29th of May this year. We want to bring resource persons from different stratas of the economy, from within and outside the country, to come and tell them what is best practice and what we expect them to do. And we are hoping that by the time they go...
you can land on that point by the time they go, before I bring in my next question.
By the time they go through that, with that hamper that they will be sworn in and assuming duty with, the best of governance will be in place, because by our side, we have been building a public service that will give 21st century service to citizens of this country.
You know, this looks good on paper. I mean, the sound of it sounds good. Yes, we can hope for that, but we've seen scenarios. The public service, we know, is the engine room. I mean, if governance essentially fails or succeeds, from that point, the public service. But you still see public service, you hear stories of some of them scuttling the efforts of government. In fact, some of them were taking kickbacks, trying to fleece citizens who are trying to get service delivery, essentially. And it's been said that it's because some of these offices are essentially political rewards. Okay, it is not as a result of people that actually deserve to be in those offices. It's just to reward them. So how do we get that balance, really, to ensure that the right people are there such that they can ensure effective service delivery?
Well, thank you very much. Those that have been elected that we are going to induct and train are the products of the society. They've been elected by their own communities. While on the side of government, we have this confidence that only the best will continue to perform and deliver vis-a-vis the mandate given to them. We are developing what we call standard operating procedures, key performance indicators, and by extension, institutionalizing performance management in the entire federal public service. So as you come in, you know what is expected of you. You have targets. There are results that you are expected to produce and deliver. Once you are not able to do that, of course, you will be telling yourself that I'm not supposed to be in that place. So we will continue to enlighten, to educate, to provide all the needed technical support for government appointees and employees and the entire public service to deliver on their mandate. And that is why you are seeing us leading this capacity development program for the elected officers. And within the public service or the civil service, a lot of resources, time, and energy is being spent to upscale the performance and reskill the performance of public servants so that we have a meeting point between executive and legislature to deliver on mandate and by extension, deliver by improving the quality of life of the common man on the street.
Let's wind down on this one, less than a minute to go. What are those KPIs for Nigerians as well, so they can note it and look at their governors-elect, even as high as it goes, so they know what to expect, and when they see the ball is being dropped, they raise the alarm?
Yes. Now, what we are looking at, we are going to reintroduce or get them to understand they're expected to be honest, to be transparent, to deliver on the targets and objectives of setting of their organizations. Transparency is paramount and very important, but most importantly, producing results that will improve the quality of life of the common man on the street. Now, we have been leading the transformation of the public service since 2004. And the baseline of that is for us to have a world-class public service that will deliver the best of public service. I'm very happy and excited today. If you remember, in 2022 April, right, we had an engagement with NCC and other partners within the digital space and public service, where we held a conference on blockchain technology and its importance to public service. And only this week, Federal Executive Council approved that, and there is now a digital, there is a blockchain policy
Mr. Arabi,
in place.
You're opening a whole vista of conversation. Because I know a lot of people will be asking about cryptocurrency and all of that, but we have to wind down now, really. And we wish you the very best in the work you're doing. We'd like to thank you so much, Mr. Dasuki Arabi, the Director General of BPSR, for your time.
Thank you very much
on the program.